how to perform and win at the highest level with the most stakes, with the most on the line, with the most people watching. How to win then. It's pretty easy to win at your local game store, your local court, your local compete with the local squad, the local whatever. But a lot of people struggle when they're called up to the big time. And when you're called up to the big time, you have one shot to prove yourself most of the time. If you become a veteran, maybe you have a couple shots, but you always have to succeed at the highest level or you drop back down. This is something that I've learned in Magic the Gathering, and it applies to all you Magic players who want to succeed, but I think it applies to anyone who wants to succeed at anything, especially if it's competitive, which is just about everything, every career you can think about it, pro sports and stuff like that, but anything else as well. You have to, as the stakes get bigger, your performance has to get better in order for you to continue moving up, or you got moved back down. Welcome in, much love, Trav here. I'm thinking, what can I do to help today? And I'm thinking, what can I do to achieve my goals this year? I've had a great year on the Magic the Gathering Pro Tour and the Grand Prix circuit. I've had my best year. I have had some great finishes in the Pro Tour and the Grand Prix. Walking it up next year, I got another chance to prove myself. And at the end of this season, there's a chance, if I'm able to hold my lead in the draft, the limited rankings, that I'll be invited to Worlds and be one of the 16, I think 16 or is it 20 players there, have a chance to be world champion. That's a goal that I really want for myself, but also so I can help people become world champions at whatever it is y'all want to become at. If I fail on those goals, whatever, I'll get back and try again next year. And the key thing is, if I fail at those goals, there weren't a lot of slots, and I was up there. I was in the mix. I was performing at the highest level. I know that. I had a good year. So here's some lessons that I want to share with you about how to do it and make it happen. So the first thing is, a lot of people, this is obvious, a lot of people don't get this though, the competition is a lot higher. When the competition is a lot higher, it means it's going to be more difficult. What you're used to is is not what it's going to be like, right? So you need to train, you need to make your training harder. You know, if it's 12-minute round or 12 1-minute rounds, train 20 rounds, right? If it's do things to make your practice harder, and be aware that there's more team, there's more energy going into the people that you're competing against. You're not just competing against one person, you're competing against a team that assembled 2 weeks before and has been practiced, right? So you have to be ready for that, and you have to, your practice needs to be commensurate with it. The same practice that worked to get there is not going to be the same practice that takes to succeed there and to stay on there. You have to ratchet up, change your lifestyle a bit so that you have more practice, more experience. You have to scrap and reach out to more people to have a better team, better organization, because even for individual sports, it's not about you, really. It's about the coaches that you have and the practice and so on. So that's the first thing to think about, is the competition gets better. So your preparation has to be better. You're going to have to perform better. You're going to have to be aware of that. Duh. Now let's move on to some less obvious stuff. Second, the physical challenge becomes harder. And this is especially true of Magic or any esport or something like that, or I would say even for professional sports, a lot of the times where they'll send you off to some weird location. So, for instance, for Magic, you're used to playing locally, or maybe you go to some bigger open tournaments that are a few hours away, but for the highest level, they might send you off 12-hour time zone change. So now you need to think about how many days you're going to travel in advance, because you don't want to play on no sleep, but the longer you get in early, the more you're sleeping in an unfamiliar place, eating unfamiliar food. You have to have a plan, a workout plan. You have to have a diet plan, because it's not easy when you traveled 15 hours, 12-hour time zone difference, eating and sleeping unfamiliar spots, to compete at your very, very best ever, right? That's not easy to do. So a lot of people undervalue the physical stuff, which I find to be very helpful. Like you have to think strategy, poll people, talk to people. Like, if this is your travel plan, what day should you come in? This is important stuff. What day should your arrival be? Where should you stay compared to the venue? What's the local food gonna be? What are you gonna eat? When are you gonna eat it? How are you going to maintain your diet? That stuff is hard, and that's one of the reasons why people fail, is because they're not ready for that part of the game. It's easy when you have your little routine. It's even easier to be healthy when you have your little local routine. But when you're called up and you travel out there, can you keep it together? A lot of people can't. So that's a key. And then the third thing, and I think this is the biggest thing, and this is the thing, if you made it this far in the video, congratulations to you, because this is the thing that I saved the best for last. This is the thing that makes the biggest difference for me, and I believe it's the thing that makes the biggest difference for everyone, and it's the thing that you're gonna have to spend the most time thinking about, and that is your self-talk, the story you tell yourself of why you're there, what you're gonna do, and how you're gonna stay, how you're gonna perform, and so on. The best players and the highest performers have very different self-talk. They have very different stories they'll tell themselves about why they're there. You know, my story might be that I'm one of the best players in the world. I am the best player at draft. And I deserve to be here. I perform. I always perform. I'm going to be in the best shape. I'm going to be in the best. I perform my best at the highest level, the highest stakes, the highest pressure. I have the best team. I'll work well with teams. Everything that I've done in the past leads up to this moment, and I just love the moment. I don't get nervous with the most people watching. I feel great. I sit down to the draft table, or sit down to the table. My opponents get nervous around me. I get more calm, more confident. I see a lot of mistakes against me. I don't make mistakes at the highest level. When the lights come on, that's when I play my best. Doesn't mean I win every single game, but when I lose, I stay calm and I come back and I win the next one. And when I win, I stay calm and I come back and I win the next one. That's the sort of self-talk of a champion, right? I'm going to be champion. I'm going to be the best. I will win. That's the way it goes. And this isn't for me, right? I study top performers in sports and athletics. You look at championship, anything, and this is the type of stuff that they tell themselves. Or, you know, it's like, this is just another game, but I love this situation. I'm going to perform in this situation. There's different things people will tell themselves, but that's a key factor here. Now, the negative self-talk of more amateur player who gets the one chance called up and they waste it and they get sent home. It's like, I'm an imposter, I don't deserve to be here, I'm not good, I'm getting nervous, I don't have enough time to get in there to prepare, I don't have the right team around me, it's hard for me when there's a lot of people watching, it's going to be super hard going to this new place and traveling for there. I hope I don't get paired against the best players. I just want to make the second day of competition. I'm just trying to, you know, try not to tilt out too much after I lose. Just, you know, I hope I don't make a fool of myself. I'm just happy to be there, you know. It was just one experience. I've got low expectations. I know, right, this is not just the day of and the morning of. This is the type of story that you can tell yourself for weeks leading up to the competition. You have a 16-hour commute to the tournament and you tell yourself that story over and over. What do you think is going to happen, right? So you need to be vigilant about your self-talk. This is sports psychology, right? You have to be aware of the story that you're telling to yourself and about yourself, about your journey. And you have to be so some things you can do, for one, like you have to take note. You can write them down. You want to listen to inspirational speeches and music if you're going to listen to anything. Stuff it's not necessarily going to hype you up with short energy, but put you in the mindset for success, for winning. Put you in the mindset. One song, and I was listening to this at the last Pro Tour. As we had a decent result. We put one of our teammates in the top 8, and I took the lead for Draftmaster, and I had a decent finish, not incredible, but fine. Overall individually, but I had a great performance in draft again. And the song that I was listening to was Champions by Ron Artest, Meta World Peace. Kind of jokey, but he wrote this song before he was traded, after he was traded to the Lakers before the season, became champions, and then released the song. So if you want to know the mindset of how a champion thinks, you should check out that song. And that's just one example, right? You should listen to Arnold Schwarzenegger. You should listen to Floyd Mayweather, Tyson. You should listen to Michael Jordan. And these don't have to be good people. They just have to be winners, right? However you define that. So that will make a huge difference. You have to think about what you tell yourself, right? That's the difference between performing at the lowest level and the highest level. Competition's way higher, so your preparation has got to be way better. It's usually going to be a physical challenge added on to the mental challenge, and you need to have a good plan for that and prepare for it and be in your best shape so you can handle that. And you need to tell yourself the story of a champion and have champion thoughts and self-talk, and not be a fucking amateur that tears yourself down. Don't do that, right? That's the biggest difference in my opinion by far. So I hope you find that helpful. Obviously, you want help in Magic, you know about the Mastermind coaching program and network. I'm hoping and working on this, win Draftmaster, become world champion, and then coach professionals who want to be champions in their field outside. So that's the story I'm telling myself. Is it going to happen? You know, sometimes it doesn't happen exactly as you foresee it or you want to foresee it, but from everything that I've seen, visualizing it and talking about it and working towards it makes it more likely to happen than not. So that's my goal, or part of my goal, and teach people how to perform at the highest level. But again, even if I fail on that, I was shooting for the fucking stars. I will land on the moon. I'm on the moon right now, blasting off. So that's lessons that I learned from this year. First year playing all 4 Pro Tours in the year, and I'm going to play the next 4 next year, so I get to play at least 8 in a row, plus silver 9 in a row. It's going to be rad. Yeah, so hope you find that useful. Now I'm going to go train, go for a surf, eat big, and then go do some Magic tonight. It's going to be cool. So follow along with me. Make sure to subscribe all my channels. I got a couple, link in the comments. Apply to that mastermind if it makes sense for you. And we'll talk soon. See you in the comments.